So the iPhone 16 has already leaked, but the leaks are probably wrong. It seems like every year we hear the iPhone is going to get some huge redesign, some big brand new feature, but when it launches, it's almost always just more of the same. Why is that? Now that we're finally getting our early glimpse of the iPhone 16 lineup, we've got to separate fact from fiction and figure out what's coming and what's just gonna stay in the rumor mill indefinitely. Let me break down everything we know about the iPhone 16 lineup, the iPhone 16 Ultra, what new features we could see, some new colors, some new features, and sort of help you figure out if it's worth upgrading or not, and what are we really gonna see with the 16, and which of these rumors are just never gonna happen. Let me break it all down and tell you everything you need to know right now, and also give a big thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Well, folks, it's about this time every single year that we start to hear about what Apple is working on next, with the next iPhone lineup launching later on this year. And despite the upcoming March event actually sort of happening, seems like it's gonna happen pretty quickly here and bring us some new stuff, it seems like most of the rumors are all fixated on the iPhone 16 line and what will or will not be coming this September. So let me break down what we know. Basically, as of right now, the iPhone 16 lineup is shaping up to be kind of interesting. Apple is rumored to be making some controversial changes that I don't think are going to be great. Also some weird changes that seem to make no sense. But as a whole, it's more of the same, but also some exciting stuff here that will be good. And especially if you're coming from an older iPhone, this is going to be a pretty solid year to upgrade. Okay, so as of right now, here's what we're looking at. We've got the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, same screen sizes as last year. It's going to be 6.1 and 6.7, and then the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, which do have a different screen that I'll come back to in a moment, and then potentially an iPhone Ultra could be coming to the lineup, maybe 16 Ultra, maybe iPhone Ultra, that could really shake things up, and could be the first time we've seen any iPhone lineup change in a matter of years. Really since the iPhone 10 did Apple add a brand new phone to the lineup, shaking things up. Or I guess, well, they did the Mini, and they did the Plus. I guess if you count that, it basically, if there's an Ultra iPhone this year, it's gonna be really cool. And it's about this time of year that we start to hear the more ambitious rumors about what could be changing. The big design overhaul, some of the big new features, all of this stuff really comes out right now because the phones are still in the early stages of development. We know that Apple works typically about a year or two ahead on their phones, so it's not like Apple is starting from scratch, but it's not until later on in the summer that Apple actually starts to build these phones and they have to put the pieces together. Once we get closer to that, that's when the actual components leak and we kind of figure out, okay, this is actually going to be in the phone or not. But until then, it's sort of the Wild West and people are just sort of guessing what may or may not make the cut. Okay, so probably the biggest design change that does seem to be happening this year is what you're going to notice on the back of these phones, because Apple is once again going back to the vertical stacked camera system, switching away from the diagonal system we've got for the last couple of years on our iPhones, now going back to something like this. On the 16 Pro and Pro Max, though, Apple may be doing something a bit more experimental. We've seen some rumors and renders of something like this over the last couple of days popping up. Not sure if that's going to be here or not. But basically, as of right now, we think we're going to see a vertical system on the 16 and 16 Plus, and something a little bit more experimental on the 16 Pro, Pro Max, and maybe a 16 Ultra, but again, I'll come back to that in a second. One of the other big design changes here is that Apple is set to be bringing the action button to every single phone in the lineup this year. So 16 and 16 Plus will be getting the action button as well. And I'm curious, for those of you who own a 15 Pro, do you use your action button? I find that I only use it to basically do what the mute switch did, which was to toggle mute on and off. I feel like it's kind of worthless. So if you use it, let me know down below what you use it for. And if you care about it, it is coming to every iPhone in the lineup this fall. Speaking of buttons, we're also hearing that Apple is set to be bringing another new button to every single iPhone 16 in the lineup this year, and that is a new capture button. Now, we know the name, but we don't exactly know what you're capturing. It sounds like it has something to do with the camera. We don't exactly know what feature it's going to be. Some rumors have said it's going to be touch sensitive, where you could press harder and do different things. Others said it's just a button. We don't exactly know right now, but we are hearing that where this button is going to go is where the millimeter wave antenna is in US-based iPhones. So basically that little cutout there that already sort of looks like a button will become a button later on this year with the 16 phones. And then probably the other big design change you will notice on the iPhones is only going to be on the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, as Apple is not only continuing to sort of shrink the bezels to make them as thin as possible, but also they're actually giving us bigger iPhone screen sizes for the first time in years. So iPhone 16 Pro is going to jump from 6.1 to 6.3 inches, and 16 Pro Max jumping from 6.7 to 6.9 inches. And I want to say this not trying to complain or sound like an old man, but just like genuinely curious here. Who wants bigger iPhone screens? Like, as a Pro Max owner myself, I feel like the 6.7 inch screen is plenty big. The titanium was really nice in keeping that weight down, but even if Apple shrinks the bezels, what's the benefit of an even bigger screen? I mean, I'm curious to see what it's going to be like, but do you really want a bigger iPhone screen? Let me know in the comments down below. And speaking of iPhone changes no one asked for, have you ever thought to yourself, the iPhone is great, but it really needs better microphones? Well, if you've thought that, you'll be happy, because one of the other big improvements with the 16 lineup is better microphones. We're hearing this is specifically important for Siri and the new smarter Siri coming with iOS 18. Of course, there's the other typical stuff you'd expect: better battery life, the newer A series chip, Wi-Fi 7 support. All that, of course, is coming to the 16 lineup. But more exciting than that, I think, are a few wild cards and some mysterious changes that may or may not be coming to the iPhone 16 that we've got to talk about, because they really could change everything. Also, speaking of things that could change everything, one of the things that has really changed my life is the ability to learn new topics in a way that is fun, interactive, and really feels like I'm accomplishing something. If you've tried to learn something online, you get what I mean. And if you really want to sort of change the way you learn and learn in a better way, well, you've got to be like me and check out Brilliant. Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science in a fun and interactive way. You do it at your own pace, on your own time, and no need to rush. And they have got thousands of lessons for you to choose from basic to advanced topics, and new lessons added every single month. And it has just been so fun for me to delve into computer science and really learn and understand things in a way I never could before. With Brilliant, things just seem to click, and I've never had that experience before. And as I go through sort of these different lessons, it is so fun, and can't even tell you, it is so incredibly rewarding. If you've ever wanted to get into a topic like engineering or science, but again, things just weren't clicking, you may just need a different way to learn, and Brilliant, I've got to tell you, is the perfect way to go. I've personally loved it. I feel so satisfied with the lessons I've taken, and again, you're really learning and solving problems in a fun, interactive, and meaningful way. Best of all is that you can get started totally for free for 30 days, and the first 200 of you who go to the link down below will get 20% off an annual plan just by clicking that special link or going to brilliant.org/theapplecircle. So again, learn more, check out Brilliant for yourself today, and get started totally for free for 30 days by going to brilliant.org/theapplecircle. All right, reeling it back into things that make a bit more sense. Camera upgrades obviously are a big one. We've always heard some very ambitious camera rumors that seem to sometimes happen, sometimes not. With the iPhone 16 line, things are interesting because we haven't heard a lot of specifics on what camera features or upgrades could be coming. There had been some rumors that we could be getting a better ultra-wide lens on the 16 Pros, quadrupling the sensor from a 12 megapixel sensor up to 48 megapixels, so that would be nice. We'd also heard some rumors that maybe we'd get an even more pro zoom in the Pro Max, as the regular 5X will be coming to the smaller Pro phone this year, so that could be something to look out for. But besides that, it's still a little early, but we haven't heard of any better video mode or astrophotography mode or 8K video. None of that has been in the rumor mill as of now. Seems like a solid camera upgrade like this year. Like, I'm sure Apple's going to do their usual thing where they add some stuff, but nothing as substantial as years past. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so I mentioned wild cards, and I said some good wild cards could be coming, but also there are some bad and some controversial moves that could be coming that some people are really not going to like. For example, something Apple was going to try to do with the 15 series, but they sort of failed to do, that might be coming back, is removing physical buttons and replacing them with touch-sensitive buttons. Remember back with the iPhone 7, Apple replaced the home button with a touch-sensitive button that felt like you were clicking a button, but it wasn't really real, but it was kind of cool, but it also wasn't the same. That's kind of what they're planning to do with the buttons. This was a rumor that it was gonna come to the 15 series. Not sure if it's gonna make the cut or not. Apple had some problems with it last year, but As Apple seems to do sometimes, they have this vendetta against ports and buttons. Before, we've heard them wanting to remove the port, which I don't know if they can do now because the laws and stuff. But buttons, it seems like they want to remove the physical buttons and replace these with touch-sensitive buttons that feel like you're clicking a real button, but are not actually physical parts. So not sure why Apple hates buttons, but that could be on the drawing board for the 15 Pros this year. In a bit of more exciting news though, there has been some talk of an Ultra iPhone, and it's sort of been split in the community whether this is happening or not. On one hand, there has really been no code to suggest that Apple is still actively working on an Ultra iPhone, and we just don't know if it's gonna happen. But on the other hand, Apple has been known for keeping things a little bit more top secret, and if this Ultra iPhone could come, it could be a win-win-win all around. For us iPhone enthusiasts who really want the best iPhone possible, this could be Apple's chance to really flex their tech prowess and give us some stuff that's really cool, a more ambitious design, some more exciting camera features, some crazier power under the hood, some new colors. This could be a really awesome opportunity for Apple to really deliver us the Ultra iPhone we've all been waiting for. Also, this could be a big win for Apple because they could charge more money for this. If you want a cheaper iPhone, go with an SE, go with a 16 or 16 Plus, even the 16 Pro. But for those super fans willing to spend the money, like they were with Vision Pro, here's a $2,000 iPhone that's got more bells and whistles. And even if Apple doesn't sell as many of them, they could still make a bunch of money from those willing to pay the extra money and get an Ultra phone. All right, and then I've got to return to sort of the two original questions from this video. That is, can these rumors be trusted, and should you upgrade or should you wait to upgrade to the iPhone 16 line? Well, to answer the first question, well, it sort of depends. Like I mentioned before, iPhone rumors are very much the Wild West until we get closer to the summer. Once we get closer to the summer and the fall, that's where things really start to get locked in, and that's when rumors are a lot more stable. Though if you remember in years past, things could always change on a dime. For one, we thought the iPhone's dynamic island or the new notch setup was gonna look like this and not like this. We thought reverse wireless charging was for sure coming, and astrophotography was a long-standing rumor that was with, what was it, the 14 or the 13? It must have been maybe the 12. It was an older rumor that seemed like it was going to be a done deal and then just never happened. So things can certainly change. So definitely take all this advice and these rumors with a major grain of salt until we get to like August, then it's basically a done deal. Now, should you upgrade or should you wait to upgrade is a very valid question as well. And I'll tell you this is my general advice. If you've got an older iPhone and you're able to wait until the fall, I would certainly wait because it just makes sense to get the latest and greatest phone and really enjoy all the new features, especially if you're coming from a 10 or a 10S or anything older. You're really going to enjoy the better camera upgrades, better battery life, better screen, all is good. But if you've got a phone right now that's on its last leg, now is a good time to upgrade. As always though, I wanna know your thoughts on all this. What are your thoughts on the iPhone 16? Your thoughts on the current rumors that we know as of right now? What features would you wanna see? And here's the sort of $1,000 question. Are you going to upgrade? Are you gonna upgrade to the 16 line? Are you gonna wait for it? Are you not going to? Do you need a new phone right now and you're looking at the iPhone 15? Are you happy with your current phone? Let me know your thoughts down below. We can discuss. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. Awesome. We got like the Apple Circle as a name. Should we call you guys like the Apple Core? Is that like our community name? We gotta find a name. But I just appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.